Hi everybody, I'm Scott Spradling along with Londonderry School Superintendent Dan Black, and if you found us online here, good for you. You're doing your homework as we go into 2025 Town Meeting Day, which is March 11th. You'll vote at the Londonderry High School, so we hope you'll participate because, you know, a smart voter is a good voter. So thank you for clicking in and learning a little bit more about the school district budget moving forward. So Dan, let's talk a little bit about big picture. What do people need to know about the school budget itself? What are the numbers?
So, I think the biggest thing to know about the school budget is we are basically level funded from last year's voter approved level, which I know will come as a shock. Some of it was good timing, some of it was hard choices. So we're able to save money on some staff turnover, on bonds coming off and one-time costs. We absorbed a whole bunch of costs around special ed out-of-district placements, which are federally mandated and we have to do, but we still found ways to make investments. We're investing in our advanced classes at the high school, some career-connected learning at the high school. We're bringing in a social worker for our middle school and high school. And we also continue to make investments in our sports programs at the elementary, middle, and high school level. And we did all this by also making tough choices around staff. There's about 5 staff that are not in next year's budget. No one's losing their job. But what we did is we made some choices around declining enrollment, and we kept all of our programs, and we made sure that we have a defensible budget, but one that's actually nearly the same level as last year, about $33,000 less. And shockingly, the tax rate is actually going down because our costs stayed the same, but the valuation of the houses went up.
Oh, that's a very sharp budget pencil you brought to the game.
Some of it was good luck, some of it was hard choices.
Yeah, and the default budget, if they didn't approve this, what would be the default budget? Is it more?
Yeah, the default budget is actually higher. So the default budget is basically $123,000 higher than the budget going to the voters on March 11th.
How do you feel about it? I mean, you obviously tightened down the budget, but does it meet the needs to your satisfaction going forward for the next year?
Yeah, that's always the toughest thing. You want to make sure that we're funding the programs that Londonderry wants. Londonderry wants to make sure we have good academics and good co-curricular programs for all the stuff outside. They're all there. We funded them. We did make some tough choices, but I think it's a highly defensible budget.
Superintendent Black, let's talk a little bit about 2 of the maybe headline topics for this particular cycle for the school district. One is full-day kindergarten, which you'll be deciding, and the other is the district office and its location, and you have proposals for both. So let's start with kindergarten. What's your plan?
So, the plan is we listened to Londonderry from the vote last year. From last year's vote, we saw a lot of support for full-day kindergarten, but I think there wasn't enough support for the cost of last year in the $30 million. So we spent the spring and summer and fall really researching a lot of different ideas. And the school board and the administration came up with a plan where we can have full-day kindergarten. We're going to bring it to Matthew Thornton, North School, and South School. We're going to make sure we have enough space by bringing in excellent modular classrooms for that. And with the space we save at Moose Hill, we're going to get to the second part of that plan, which is the district office. But I hope Londonderry really appreciates that we've greatly reduced the cost by nearly 80%. So we have a $9 million bond compared to a nearly more than $30 million bond last year. But we're still bringing full-day kindergarten. That's the most important thing for our school district. We have to get away from trying to make up ground in first, second, and third grade for all the kids that lost that time. We need that extra 103 days. So I hope the voters do see the efforts we made there. We listen to them, and we're trying to follow through on full-day kindergarten.
Londonderry is one of the last remaining communities that does not have full-day kindergarten, correct?
Yes.
Can you elaborate just a little bit more on that sense of the kindergarten graduates, if you will, being maybe a little bit behind and having to play catch-up?
Sure. I mean, one thing we've seen year after year is our first graders tend to be behind national and state averages on their iReady testing. It's the only grade level we really see that. And, what it comes down to it is they have 103 less days of school compared to all their peers around them, both in the country and New Hampshire. Our Moose Hill staff do an excellent job. They squeeze so much into that half day, but it's just not enough time to learn.
Makes sense. All right, so let's talk about the district office.
Yep.
You're shifting it from the current location to a proposed Moose Hill school location.
Yep.
Tell me a little bit about that. And these 2 things are somewhat together in the conversation.
Yep.
I think, as you said, it's a matter of feedback from last year's conversations and trying to strike a balance of interests.
So when you look at the project this year, we listened to voters. We found a more cost-effective approach to full-day kindergarten. Another piece of feedback that the school board got was, if this town really wants full-day kindergarten, we have to address the district office. Having it be leased far away from the school system, kind of up by the airport, isn't a great long-term plan. So with all the different things we looked at this summer, we came up with a plan where the district office will now move into one wing of Moose Hill. So that wing of Moose Hill will be fashioned into office space while we move all the full-day kindergarten classes into Matthew Thornton, North School, and South School by August of 2026. So this will take one more year. That's still a pretty quick timeline for any building project.
And the school itself stays open during this transition, right?
Yep.
You'll be sort of working on project while the kids are still doing their thing.
So next year, Moose Hill will stay as is, and then by the 26-27 school year, the pre-K will stay there, and the district office staff will move in probably in the fall.
This has been a conversation that you've had now for a number of months, and it's involved teachers and the families and the school board. What kind of feedback are you getting on this overall proposal?
Yeah, I mean, as of right now, it's been quiet and good. And when I look at the deliberative session last week, there were no comments for or against it, so we're feeling good about the project. And I think one of the things that really surprised me over the last 2 to 3 months is when we made this plan in September and October, we didn't really look at the finances over a long period of time. I think what kind of really shocked me is because we're saving money on the district office lease, we're saving money on midday bus runs, we're getting more revenue from the state because of full-day kindergarten. When you add that up over a 15-year bond, by the third or fourth year, we're actually going to save money for taxpayers.
Oh, wow.
So over a 15-year period, we could save about $2.4 million, which kind of shocked me. And I think that has really turned a very good feedback for us in the project and the process.
Yeah, that's impressive fiscal management there. Let's move on to maybe one of the other major important issues that will be facing voters in Londonderry next month, which is the teacher contracts.
Yeah.
Can you give us a thumbnail sketch of what those contracts are, what you're trying to do?
Sure. I mean, so you look at the big picture of Londonderry, our staff are working really hard. They're doing great work. We've really turned around a lot of our public-facing numbers, and I think if you went to the deliberative session or any school board meetings of the last year and a half, you can kind of see those stats. So looking at that, I think the school board really values what our staff does, and they made a big investment in our staff. Our staff probably, lost out a little bit when inflation went through the roof for the prior couple of years. So they're kind of making up for that now. So what you're seeing is a 3-year contract for the teachers and a 3-year contract for allied health. That's like the occupational therapists, the nurses, things like that. And within that contract, we cleaned up the lower end of our salary scale because a lot of our younger teachers were definitely underpaid compared to the region. So we rose the salaries there, and then we had good raises for our mid-career staff and our veteran staff. So the school board found a way to kind of work with the union and really come up with a good plan to value all of our staff, acknowledge the hard work they're doing and all the impacts they can see, and make sure we have them for the future as well too.
That can be a process where there can be a lot of punches thrown back and forth in a negotiation like this. Sounds to me like that didn't happen in this process.
No, I mean, I think one thing I hope Londonderry also always knows is we have a great union. We have great unions in this town. I mean, they really look at the bigger picture. They care about their students. They work hard for them. They want to make everything work with the community. And it was a very amicable. I mean, all negotiations are tough. They're never easy. They're never easy. But it was a very amicable process, and I think by the end, I think everyone felt good about the direction we're going and the investment being made in staff.
Last question on that. I know attract and retain is such an important phrase when it comes to preserving your best and brightest among your staff with your teachers. So did these numbers help align you to be competitive with surrounding communities and the state?
Yes. So what we saw is on that bottom scale and even some of the middle scale, we were behind a lot of our local districts. So in the last couple of years, we've definitely lost younger staff to other districts. This has caught us up and actually surpassed most of the local districts, which is what we need. We want to stay competitive.
All right, so that's the teacher contracts. And then I know voters are going to have to spend a little bit of time with this ballot this year because there's just a bunch of articles. But what else is in the school district that folks need to know?
Got it. So what I just described was 6 articles. The other 5 are the ones you typically see. Can we accept federal funds? Yes, we want to accept $3.3 million every year. We have our typical funds for capital reserve, which allows us to work on the roofs and all the things that may break over the year. And then we have another fund for IT, which kind of funds all of the wireless infrastructure we need. And then we have a small equipment one, and then we have one for vehicles. So we are hopeful that the school district sees and the community sees that we have a lawnmower we need to buy and a box truck we need to buy that's actually coming at 0 cost for the taxpayers because we're getting it at unreserved fund balance.
Unreserved fund balance. All right. So let's make that last point again. So you among the infrastructure investments that
Yeah.
are being made. And
Yeah.
again, in essentially a level funded budget
Yep.
from last year to this year.
Yep.
One is a box truck that you're getting in some kind of a financial exchange?
Yeah, so basically, you know, we have needs to kind of support both our music program and the district at large, and the music program takes a lot of trips, and they have to move all their instruments around. So it became more cost effective for us to get a box truck for the program and the whole district, and get a lawnmower for our buildings and grounds. But they're coming at no cost because it's from fund balance.
You can't fit a tuba in the back of a small SUV.
You cannot.
just
You
can't
cannot.
do it.
You can't do it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Dan, anything else you want to say about the proposal that voters will see for March 11th, 2025?
No, I just hope you guys come out and vote. I think we had one of the biggest votes in the last 25 years last year. Please come out in droves again. I think the more people that engage in this process, the more we learn from it, and the better we're going to be.
Dan Black, thank you very much for your time.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching this video and coming up to speed on the warrant articles that'll be on March 11th here in Londonderry. Vote at the high school. Take care.